Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Here today we're going to be doing a comparison video between the HOONICORN and the HOONICORN V2. And I'm going to give justification why the HOONICORN V2 is much more superior in every single aspect that you can get into. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the statistics a little bit. So before I show all the numbers, one interesting thing to note is that both the horsepower and the torque are the same. At a horsepower of 1400 horsepower, and a torque of 1200 foot-pounds. It's the same. So practically when you tune this and upgrade this, you can technically have the same build on each vehicle. Subjectively, I believe that the HOONICORN V2 handles a little bit better. But let's go ahead and jump into the statistics and see what the differences are. So based off the way I tuned it, the HOONICORN V2 is a little bit better in some categories, especially with the acceleration 0 to 100 miles an hour. It's slightly better. But I mean, if you look at like weight, for instance, it's a pound lighter. So really what sets this different? Now, like I said, subjectively, I like the HOONICORN V2 in terms of the handling, but the handling might be the same. It might be just kind of my imagination or the psychology around that. Really, let's jump into why the HOONICORN V2 is much more superior. So if we jump into skills, this is where the HOONICORN V2 has a much more advantage, and why it's so rare and why it costs so much on the auction house and why it's practically a farming vehicle for skill points. If you look more specifically at the skill multiplier, you could get up to a skill multiplier of 8. That way you don't need skill songs all the time to jump up to 10. You could just go to 8 whenever you want. I've farmed up to at least 999 skill points multiple times. I do have a video on that, a very short video on that, but these advantages, these little boosts are much more significant than the boost that is available with the regular HOONICORN. Considering that you could just drift around and go in free mode, you can rank up like crazy, you can get skill points like crazy, you can buy and sell and do whatever you want with those skill points and make a lot of money off of it, and you don't even have to race or anything. Now, it's not as efficient as other methods. For example, there's a lot of glitch races out there, but I feel like it's a lot more natural of a way of actually acquiring skill points rather than going into a glitch race and driving through a bunch of random stuff or doing some weird objective in a glitch race that I normally wouldn't want to do. When I go into a race, I just want to race. When I want to go in free mode, I just want to drift around. In that case, I could take the HOONICORN V2, space out, talk to my buddies on Discord, and just drift around all day. All that said and done. Without further ado, guys, this was just a quick comparison video. I plan on doing more of these in the future where I compare different types of vehicles. But I feel like it's much more significant to talk about the differences between the HOONICORN V2 and the regular HOONICORN, as the HOONICORN V2 is a well-worth vehicle if you're able to get it. Now, every time you see it in the events of the week or the month or any series or any time you could get this vehicle, definitely jump on it. And if you're randomly able to get it gifted to you, well, that's just a blessing to you because, yeah, these things are going for a tremendous amount on the auction house. The last I checked, they were going for about 15 million, probably much more now, or they're probably non-existent. Without further ado, though, this was the comparison video on HOONICORN V2 versus the regular HOONICORN. If you guys go ahead and like and subscribe and do all that fun jazz, and I will talk to you guys all later. Thank you.